This morning I sat down with my coffee and turned on the Paramount Plus app to find something to watch. I came across a documentary on September 11th. Now, I have seen countless documentaries about that day, but this particular one caught my attention because it covered 9/11 from a more local perspective. It showed footage from local news outlets and radio stations throughout what they called the heartland of America instead of the perspective we normally see from the national mainstream media. As I was watching it, it got me to thinking about how much America has changed in the last 20 years. Back then, the country was united. Not one time throughout that documentary did I see an interview with a man dressed as a woman asking his opinion about what happened that day. Men back then, they acted like men. Women dressed and acted like women. In 2001, if you walked up to someone and asked them, "What is your definition of a woman?" they would have slapped the shit out of you. What the hell are you talking about? There's a woman standing right beside me. Get out of here with your stupidity. Fast forward 20 years later, 7% of the population can't give you the definition of a woman. You know, I struggle with that concept. I'm going to have to consult with my biologist. I saw Tran Dan earlier. He identifies as a woman, but he has one hell of a thick beard. For decades, graduates of WokeU have worked tirelessly to confuse gender roles, and now they are working to confuse the very definition of gender, and it is having a devastating effect on businesses that have traditionally been geared towards women. And when I say women, I mean actual women, not the dude who lives next door who borrowed one of Joy Reid's wigs and pretends to be a woman so he can share a bathroom with him. Victoria's Secret, founded in 1977 by a guy named Roy Raymond. One day, Roy was out looking for lingerie for his wife. It was an uncomfortable process for him. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. He was uncomfortable shopping for lingerie like most normal men would be. He decided to start a business to solve his problem, named it Victoria's Secret as a nod to the Victorian era in Europe. The business was a huge success. Sales in his first year were over $500,000. 5 years later, the company's heading towards bankruptcy. Roy Raymond sells the business to a guy named Leslie Wexner for $1 million. At the time, the company was only grossing around $6 million a year. So the story has a happy ending, right? Roy Raymond becomes a millionaire. He avoids filing for bankruptcy. Everyone goes home happy. 10 years later, Victoria's Secret's grossing over $1 billion. It's become a cultural phenomenon. Roy Raymond falls into a deep depression, watching the company that he started and damn near squandered become an American success story. Roy Raymond jumps off the Golden Gate Bridge, ending his life. His life ended that night in 1993, but Victoria's Secret, they were just getting started. The company became a staple in the fashion industry. They shaped the culture. They defined what a sexy woman looked like. Some people like to claim that Victoria's Secret's geared towards women, but the company is actually geared towards men. Who are women wearing lingerie to please? Their man. Who are they trying to look sexy for? Their man. Who are they trying to attract when wearing clothing from Victoria's Secret? A dude. In the mid-90s, Victoria's Secret launched their annual fashion show. 1999, the show aired online for the first time in what Time magazine described as the first internet breaking moment. 1.5 million people tuned in online, crashing Victoria's Secret website. 10 million people watched on television. The company steamrolled through the 2000s, eventually becoming an $8 billion fashion line. They launched their careers of Tyra Banks, Gisele Bündchen, Heidi Klum. They called them the Victoria's Secret Angels. Back then, you didn't need a fucking biologist to define a woman. All you had to do was open a Victoria's Secret catalog, Playboy magazine, and you had a clear view of what a sexy woman looked like. Fast forward to 2018. Sales throughout the company began to decline. Why? What would cause a giant in the fashion industry with consistent sales growth over 3 decades? What would cause a drastic decline in revenue? They began to be attacked by members of Woke United Methodist for being outdated. Non-binary shitfucks who can't figure out whether they're a man or a woman, They wanted to redefine what it meant to be a sexy woman. Woke political activists launched a full frontal attack on their annual fashion show. How is this acceptable? All of these women are sexy and beautiful. Where is Tran Dan? Where is non-binary Becky? Where is gay Gayerson? Where is lesbian Lisa? There is not enough LGBT representation. This will not be tolerated. Of course, the mainstream media contributed to the attack, and it worked. Victoria's Secret sales dropped 3% in 2018. They began to lose market share to companies like Third Love and Lively, brands that featured plus-size models, brands that were more inclusive. Now, this is just speculation on my part, but what also happened during that time, there was a quality issue with Victoria's Secret. Customers began complaining that the quality of the apparel wasn't the same as it was in the past. Either way, a 3% drop in revenue, that's big, but it's fixable. Initially, the company fought back against the woke shitfucks. One of the executives at the time with the company, Ed Razik, he gave an interview to Vogue magazine in 2019. The company was being pressured to be more inclusive. They were being pressured to include trans models, models who didn't fit what the media called the traditional mold of what it meant to be a sexy woman. In response, Ed Razik basically said, "Fuck off. We're not featuring plus-sized models. We are not featuring trans models. You won't see Tran Dan at our fashion show because it would ruin the fantasy." And he was absolutely right. The problem is, the mainstream media turned him into a pariah. Victoria's Secret became public enemy number one at Woke United Methodist, which brings us to last summer, where the company made a decision that sunk them to the very bottom of the woke sea. They decided to go with the strategy, if you can't beat them, join them. After years of declining sales and loss of market share, relentless attacks from the woke media and people who can't define a woman, Victoria's Secret, they contacted Woke United Methodist and they asked to be baptized. "We want to be born again. We realize we are outdated. We want to atone for our sins of defining sexy women. Please let us pray to the oak tree and have him guide us to our act of reparations." What were the orders from the oak tree? What were the orders from Woke United Methodist? Victoria's Secret had to scrap the popular Angels, the group of models they made famous, the group of models who represented the fantasy, the so-called definition of women. They replaced the Angels with the VS Collective, and what a group of sexy women they selected for their launch. No more sexy blondes like Heidi Klum, no more sexy brunettes like Miranda Kerr, no more supermodels, period. That term is so outdated. What makes these models so super? We are redefining women. They replaced Miranda Kerr with Valentina Sampaio, a transgender model from Brazil. Now that gesture partially appeased the woke shitfucks, but they wanted more. Victoria's Secret, they were also accused of being too white, featuring too many thin white models. So they began featuring plus-sized African-American models. But that wasn't enough. They wanted more. They wiped out all the toxic masculinity in executive management and filled every seat but one with women. They said they were taking the company in a new direction. Victoria's Secret will no longer be about what men want, what men expect from their women in the bedroom. We are going to be about what women and non-binary shovels want. Fuck those toxic men. There was only one last piece to the puzzle. They needed a brand ambassador. They needed someone with a platform, someone who defined the new woman, someone who could influence women to take off their lingerie and put on a tuxedo. Who better to fill that role than America's favorite Easter egg, Megan Rapinoe? Oh, Meg. She has such a strong legacy of elevating struggling businesses. Go ask Subway how much an endorsement from Megan Rapinoe can completely tank your business. Victoria's Secret made Megan Rapinoe the face of their VS Collective launch. No more Heidi Klum looking tantalizing in a set of lingerie. Instead, you open the Victoria's Secret catalog and you see this fucking face. The face that scares children across America. Last summer, The Egg told the New York Times the branding of Victoria's Secret in the past was harmful to young women. It defined what it meant to be sexy. We are changing the narrative. We are redefining sexiness. I mean, what a brilliant marketing strategy. Who knows what heterosexual men want better than a fucking egg who looks like a prepubescent boy? Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think we made a video about this last summer when it was announced Megan Rapinoe would be the new face of Victoria's Secret. And if I'm not mistaken, I told you guys this decision would decimate the company. I'm in a rush to get this video uploaded this morning. I have a dentist appointment at noon, so I didn't have time to dig through the archives on YouTube to find the video. But as expected, making an egg the face of a sexy lingerie line didn't work. It turns out men don't find Megan Rapinoe sexy. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? I have never heard one dude say, I would love to see that egg wearing a thong. Sales for Victoria's Secret declined nearly 5% so far this year. Yesterday, it was announced they were cutting 160 management positions, basically 5% of their workforce. Since July 2021, when it was announced Megan Rapinoe would be the face of this disgrace, their stock prices have declined 34%. I wonder why. This woman, by design, is destructive. Megan Rapinoe does what social justice warriors do best. These people don't know how to create anything, but they are experts at destroying everything. It was also announced yesterday, Victoria's Secret, they are looking to rebrand again. We have heard your demands. We are making it our mission to be more inclusive. Check out their definition of inclusivity. I'm going to let you guys decide whatever you want to decide about this. But here's the thing. Like Ed Razek said, Victoria's Secret used to represent a fantasy. It was the same with Playboy. It was fantasy. There's nothing wrong with that. Men know the average American woman doesn't look like Heidi Klum. Most men don't give a shit if your waist is a size 2, 3, or 4. Most men don't even know your waist size. Victoria's Secret models, they were something to look at. Lingerie for your wife or girlfriend to model for you. But the fantasy's been destroyed because emotional woke shitfucks couldn't tolerate the exclusivity of Victoria's Secret. They wanted representation of big women, of Tran Dan, the cracked egg who looks like a prepubescent boy. They got their representation in Victoria's Secret. They got their new home at the bottom of the woke sea. But let me know what you think. Victoria's Secret, they go woke, aligning themselves with the egg and seeing a 34% decrease in stock value. Is this stock decline directly tied to their marketing campaign with Megan Rapinoe? Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, kc_btl84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.